My dad forgot my son's theme park pass. The worker said, he's not on the list. My parents looked away. My brother smirked. We only pay for kids who matter. I took my boy's hand and left. 2 hours later, the family chat saw my son grinning somewhere better. And then the call started. Before we dive in, if you enjoy this kind of content, hit that subscribe button. It's the simplest way to support what we do here, and make sure you never miss a video. We're building something and we need you in it. Okay, let's go. The worker looked at his screen, then at my son, then back at the screen. He's not on the list, he said. My boy was holding my hand. He was wearing the dinosaur shirt he picked out at 5:30 that morning. My parents were already through the gate. My brother's kids were already inside. My father turned around. For a second, I thought he was going to fix it. He looked at my son. Then he looked away. My brother leaned in and said, we only pay for kids who matter. I took my son's hand and we walked back to the car. 2 hours later, the family group chat saw a photo that changed everything. Let me start from the morning. My name is James. My son's name is Oliver. He is 7 years old. His mother, Claire, was working that Saturday. She's a nurse. Weekends happen. So it was just me and Oliver for the big day. The theme park trip my father had been promising for 3 weeks. Oliver woke up at 5:30. I heard him in his room, opening and closing his dresser drawers. When I walked in, he was already dressed. The blue shirt with the green dinosaur on the front. He calls it his adventure shirt. He wore it to his first day of school. He wore it to the zoo last spring, and he chose it for today because today was the biggest day on his calendar. He had a calendar, a real one, taped to the wall next to his bed. 3 weeks ago, my father looked at Oliver at a family dinner in front of everyone and said, Grandpa's taking everyone to the park, all the grandkids, my treat. Oliver started counting that night. Red marker. 1x per day. A smiley face drawn on the last day, the day that was today. Dad, look, he showed me the calendar. 21 X's. The smiley face. Today's the day. I see that, buddy. Do you think Grandpa will let me sit in the front row of the fast one? I think Grandpa will let you do whatever you want. He grinned. He brushed his teeth without being asked. He put on his sneakers by the front door and sat on the bench waiting for me with his hands on his knees. His legs were swinging. He couldn't keep them still. I packed juice boxes and granola bars in a small cooler. He followed me around the kitchen telling me which rides he wanted to try. He had looked them up on my phone the night before. He had a mental list. The blue one with the loops, the water one, the one that goes backwards. He had the order memorized. Dad, do you think I'm tall enough for the big one? We'll check when we get there. What if I'm not? Then we'll find one that's even better. He grinned again, the grin of a kid who trusts the day completely. I texted Claire before we left. Heading out. Oliver is vibrating with excitement. She sent back a heart emoji and take pictures. We drove 40 minutes. Oliver talked the entire way about the rides, about which cousins he would sit with, about whether Grandpa would buy cotton candy. He was guessing how many rides they could do before lunch. He had calculated it. 6, he said. 7, if the lines are short. He had the backpack on his lap. Inside it, the calendar. He brought it because he wanted to show his grandfather the red X's. He wanted Grandpa to see how many days he had waited. Do you think Grandpa will be proud of my calendar? I think he'll love it. I believed that when I said it. We arrived at the park at 9:15. The parking lot was already filling up. Families everywhere, kids in strollers, teenagers in groups. The entrance had a big arch with the park's name across it and music playing from speakers on the posts. Oliver's head was on a swivel trying to see the rides over the fence. Dad, I can see the top of the blue one. That's the one you want to try? That's the first one. My parents' car was near the entrance. My brother Kevin's SUV was 3 spots down. A family sticker on the back window. 5 stick figures. Kevin, Dana, Tyler, Emma, Sophie. I could see them at the gate. My father in his baseball cap. My mother beside him with her purse and sunglasses pushed up on her head. Kevin and his wife Dana standing behind their 3 kids, Tyler, Emma, and Sophie, all wearing matching red shirts. Kevin does that. Matching outfits for family events. His way of making sure everyone can see which kids belong together. Which kids are a set. Oliver wasn't wearing a matching shirt. He was wearing a dinosaur. My mother saw us first. She waved. There they are, the voice of a grandmother performing warmth for an audience. Oliver waved back. Kevin didn't wave. He looked at us. Then he looked at his phone. Oliver grabbed my hand as we walked up. He was bouncing on his toes. Tyler, Kevin's oldest, looked at Oliver and said, "My dad says this park has the fastest ride in the state." Oliver said, "I'm going on it." Tyler said, "You're probably too short." Oliver looked at me. I put my hand on his shoulder. "We'll check when we get inside, buddy." The line moved forward. We reached the gate. The worker behind the counter, a young guy with a name tag, checked the reservation on his screen. My father had booked the passes online. One group reservation under his name. The worker looked at his screen. He counted the kids in line. Then he looked at Oliver. "I'm sorry, sir. I only have 4 children listed on this reservation. 3 under Kevin Mitchell, and 1 appears to be a duplicate entry. Your son isn't on the list." Oliver looked up at me. He didn't understand yet. He was looking at the worker's name tag, trying to read it. I turned to my father. He was standing 10 feet away, just past the turnstile. He had already scanned his pass. He was inside. "Dad, Oliver's name isn't on the pass." My father's hand went to his pocket. He pulled out his phone. He looked at it. Not at the worker, not at his grandson, at his phone. I must have missed one. The website was confusing. I thought I got everyone. He said it without moving toward the counter. He said it from inside the gate, 10 feet away, phone in hand. "Dad, I'll come back and buy his pass." "I don't think I can re-enter the queue from this side." "Then ask the worker. It's 1 pass." He looked at the worker. The worker looked back at him. The worker was waiting. My father turned to my mother. "Linda, can you handle this?" My mother stepped closer to me, not to the counter, to me. She touched my arm. Her voice was low. The voice she uses when the family's image needs managing. "We'll sort it out later. Don't make a scene." "His name isn't on the list, Mom. There's nothing to sort out later. Buy the pass now." "James, not here. People are looking." "People are looking at my son being told he can't come in." "Lower your voice. I'll talk to your father inside. Just give us a few minutes." "You want me to wait outside the gate with Oliver while you go inside and discuss whether my son is worth $45? She didn't answer that. She adjusted her purse strap. She looked at the ground. She had the answer, but she wasn't going to say it out loud. Her job is to keep real things from being visible. Saying, "Yes, wait outside," would be too visible. So she said nothing and let the silence be the answer. Kevin was leaning against the turnstile post. His arms were crossed. His 3 kids were already inside, visible through the gate, pointing at a map of the park. Tyler looked back through the turnstile at Oliver. Then he looked at his mother. Dana looked away. Kevin looked at me. He looked at Oliver. Then he said it. "We only pay for kids who matter." He said it at conversational volume, not shouting, not whispering. The specific volume of a man who wants to be heard but wants to pretend he was joking if anyone pushes back. He said it while looking at me. He held the eye contact. He didn't take it back. He didn't say, "I'm kidding." He let the sentence sit in the air between us. Oliver was still holding my hand. His grip tightened. He didn't know exactly what the words meant, but he felt them. 7-year-olds feel tone before they understand language. And the tone of that sentence was something a child should never feel directed at him. My fist tightened at my side. I opened my mouth. Then I closed it. I looked down at Oliver. He wasn't crying. He was looking at the gate like he was trying to figure out the rule. Like there was a system he hadn't learned yet, and if he just looked hard enough, he could find where he fit. He couldn't, and because there was no place for him. I turned around. I took my son's hand. I walked. My mother's voice came from behind us. "James, just wait. We'll figure something out." I didn't turn around. James. I kept walking. Oliver walked beside me. His sneakers scuffed the pavement. The dinosaur shirt. The backpack with the calendar inside. The juice boxes and granola bars I packed that morning for a day that was supposed to be shared with his grandfather. The walk from the gate to the car was about 200 yards. I counted my steps without meaning to. Something to focus on besides the sound of my son's sneakers and the quiet between us. Other families were walking toward the gate. Kids holding balloons, parents carrying bags. A normal Saturday morning for everyone except the man walking his son in the wrong direction. Halfway to the car, Oliver said, "Dad, we can wait. Maybe Grandpa can fix it." I kept walking. I didn't answer for a few steps. "We're not waiting, buddy. We're going somewhere better." Better than this? Better than anywhere they'd take us. He was quiet for a moment. Then he said, "Are Tyler and Emma and Sophie coming too?" "No, just us." "Oh." That "oh" carried everything. It wasn't sad. It wasn't happy. It was the sound of a child processing information he shouldn't have to process at 7 years old. We reached the car. I opened his door. He climbed in. He buckled his seatbelt. He picked up the backpack zipper and zipped it open, then closed. Then open again. The zipper was already closed. He was doing it to have something to do with his hands. "Dad, did Grandpa forget me?" I looked at him in the rearview mirror. The question was not angry. It was practical. A 7-year-old checking the facts. My hands were on the steering wheel. My knuckles were white. I closed my eyes for 3 seconds. My jaw was tight. Something behind my eyes burned. I blinked it away. When I opened my eyes, the answer was ready. "No, buddy. Grandpa didn't forget, but we don't need to wait for anyone to remember us." I started the engine. I didn't call my parents. I didn't text my brother. I put the car in reverse and drove in the opposite direction of everything I was supposed to accept quietly. Let me tell you about the pattern. Because the gate was not the first time. It wasn't new. The photo on my parents' mantle still didn't have Oliver in it. Last Thanksgiving, my mother arranged the grandkids for a photo. Oliver was placed at the far right edge. When the photo was printed and framed, he was cropped out. The frame only fits a certain width. My mother chose the crop. My son was the part she cut. The gate was not a bad day. It was the policy made visible. I drove 30 minutes in the opposite direction. I knew where I was going. There's a park 45 minutes north that Claire and I had taken Oliver to once before. Bigger, newer, better rides, more expensive, which is why we don't go often. Oliver stared out the window for the first 15 minutes, holding his backpack, not talking. Then, "Dad, where are we going?" "You'll see." "Is it far?" "Not too far." "Is it better than the other one?" "Way better." He looked out the window for a few more minutes. Then he said, "Okay." Just okay. Not excited yet, but willing. I'm the trust of a kid who has been hurt but still believes his father when his father says it's going to be all right. We pulled into the parking lot at 10:45. Oliver saw the entrance, the bigger gate. The taller rides visible behind the fence. His eyebrows went up. This one. This one. He unbuckled his seatbelt before I turned the engine off. I bought Oliver a full-day pass, a fast-track wristband so he wouldn't wait in long lines, and a meal deal. I didn't check the total twice. Oliver's eyes went wide when the wristband went on. He looked at it like it was made of gold. He held his wrist up and turned it in the light. "This is just for me?" "Just for you, buddy. Nobody else? Nobody else. This is your day." He looked at me. Something shifted in his face. The careful steadiness from the car started to soften. Not all at once, or in pieces, like ice cracking at the edges. The first ride was a junior coaster. Not the biggest one in the park, but big enough for a 7-year-old who had never been on a roller coaster before. I stood at the exit gate and watched him climb into the car. He was gripping the bar with both hands. His dinosaur shirt was bright against the gray seat. The car climbed the first hill slowly. I could see his face, nervous, excited. The car tipped over the top. He screamed. Not scared. Joyful. The specific scream of a child experiencing something for the first time and discovering he loves it. He came off the ride with his arms in the air. His hair was messed up. His face was red. He was laughing. Dad, Dad, can we go again? We went again, 3 times. Each time he raised his arms higher. Each time the scream was louder. By the 3rd time, he was telling the kid next to him, "This is my 3rd time. It's not even scary." He tried 4 more rides after that. The water one soaked his shoes and his shorts, and he laughed so hard he had to sit on a bench to catch his breath. The spinning one made him dizzy, and he walked into a trash can and laughed harder. A family next to us was watching him, and the mother smiled at me. "He's having the time of his life," she said. I nodded. She didn't know what came before this. She just saw a boy having a good day with his dad. Between rides, walking toward the food court, Oliver said something that stopped me. I thought maybe I wasn't supposed to come today. I stopped walking. I looked at him. He was looking at his wristband. Why would you think that? I don't know. Sometimes I think maybe the stuff is just for Tyler and Emma and Sophie, like maybe it's their thing. My chest tightened. My hands felt heavy at my sides. I knelt down. Eye level. His sneakers were wet from the water ride. His shirt had a new wrinkle across the dinosaur's face. "You are always supposed to come. Wherever I go, you go. That is not going to change." He nodded. He didn't fully understand. But he felt it, and right now, feeling it was enough. "Can we get ice cream?" "We can get whatever you want." At 1:30, we got ice cream. He picked chocolate. It got on his chin, his hands, his shirt. The dinosaur now had a brown streak across its belly. Oliver was grinning, not the careful grin he wears at family events, the real one, the one that takes up his whole face and makes his eyes disappear into his cheeks. I took the photo. He didn't pose. He didn't know the photo mattered. He was just standing there with chocolate on his face and his arms at his sides and the biggest smile I had seen on him in months. Behind him, the roller coaster he had ridden 3 times. The park was bright and loud and full of families. And Oliver was standing in the middle of all of it like he belonged there. Because he did. He always did. He just needed to be somewhere that agreed. At 2:17 p.m., I sat on a bench while Oliver watched a street performer juggling. I opened the family group chat and posted the photo. 1 image. Caption: "Having the best day." No explanation, no context, no mention of the gate, no mention of the worker or the list or the 5 words my brother said. Just a boy grinning and 4 words. I looked at the photo one more time before I muted the chat. His face, yes, his chocolate chin, his dinosaur shirt with the ice cream streak, his arms relaxed at his sides. A boy who 2 hours ago was walking back to a car in a parking lot, believing his grandfather forgot him. Now, standing in front of a roller coaster he rode 3 times. Same boy, same shirt, same day. I muted the chat. I put the phone in my pocket. Oliver was clapping for the juggler. I went and stood next to him. The phone vibrated in my pocket. I didn't check it. It vibrated again, and again, and again. I checked the screen once, not to read the messages, to see the typing dots, 4 people typing at the same time. Then the dots disappeared. Then they came back. Nobody knew what to say. They just knew they needed to say something. I put the phone away, 11 times over the next hour. I didn't look at it once. My son was watching a juggler, and then we were going to the bumper cars, and then we were going to the log ride, and none of the people buzzing my phone had earned the right to interrupt any of it. The first call came at 2:21. My mother. I let it ring. The second at 2:24. My father. I let it ring. The third at 2:29. Kevin. I let it ring. 3 calls in 8 minutes from people who had watched my son get turned away at a gate 4 hours earlier and said nothing. They weren't calling because they felt bad. They were calling because of a photo. And that difference is the whole story. We did 2 more rides after that. The bumper cars. Oliver drove into the wall 4 times and laughed every time. The log ride got us both soaked. Oliver stood in the exit area, dripping water, and said, "That was amazing. Sai, can we go on the fast one again?" We went on the fast one again. At 3:30, sitting on a bench drying off, I decided I was ready to talk. Not because they deserved it, because I wanted to say what I needed to say while I was calm. while my son was 10 feet away feeding popcorn to pigeons and laughing when they fought over it. I answered the fourth call at 3:45. It was my mother. Her voice was tight. Managing. Where are you? What are you doing? Your father feels terrible. He doesn't feel terrible enough to have bought a $45 pass. James, please. It was a mistake. It wasn't a mistake, Mom. He entered names on a screen, 3 kids listed, 1 name duplicated, Oliver's name missing. That's not a click error. That's a count. He's not good with computers, you know that. He's good enough to book a group reservation for 8 people. He's good enough to type 3 kids' names. He just didn't type the 4th. She changed tactics. Her voice softened. Come back. We'll buy Oliver a pass right now. We can all still have a nice day together. You said you'd sort it out later. I sorted it out myself. Silence. Where did you take him? Somewhere better. James. Mom, your grandson stood at a gate this morning and was told he wasn't on a list. You touched my arm and told me not to make a scene. You didn't buy his pass. You didn't tell Dad to fix it. You managed me instead of helping him. We're done with this conversation. I hung up. My father called at 4:10. It was a mistake. You entered names on a screen. 3 names, not 4. That's not a mistake, Dad. That's a count. I hung up. Kevin texted at 4:30. Bro, that was a joke. You know I didn't mean it like that. Come on. I screenshotted the text. I didn't reply. He texted again at 4:45. You're being dramatic. It was a throwaway line. I say stuff like that all the time. I typed back one message. I know you do. That's the problem. I put the phone down. We left the park at 5. Oliver was tired. The good kind of tired. The kind that comes from a day spent running between rides and eating ice cream and discovering that a water ride can soak you completely and that walking into a trash can is the funniest thing that has ever happened to anyone. On the way out, we passed the gift shop. Oliver slowed down. He looked at the window display. Stuffed animals, t-shirts, keychains. His eyes went to a small green stuffed dinosaur on the second shelf. Dad, look, it looks like my shirt. It did. Same color, same dopey expression, same short arms. You want it? He looked at me, then at the dinosaur, then back at me. Is that okay? Buddy, today everything is okay. He held the dinosaur against his chest while I paid. The cashier smiled at him. You look like you had a big day. Oliver nodded. I went on the fast one 3 times. 3 times? That's impressive. My dad took me. The cashier looked at me. I looked at the receipt. $12 for a stuffed dinosaur. The best $12 I have ever spent. We walked to the car. Oliver was holding the dinosaur in one hand and my hand in the other. His sneakers were still damp from the water ride. His shirt had ice cream and water stains and one new wrinkle across the dinosaur's face from where the seatbelt harness pressed against it on the roller coaster. He looked up at me. Sam, Dad? Yeah? Today was really fun. I'm glad. The ice cream was the best part. Better than the roller coaster? He thought about it. Seriously, the way 7-year-olds consider important questions. The roller coaster was the best part, but the ice cream was the second best part. What was the third? The part where I walked into the trash can. I laughed. He laughed. We walked to the car laughing about a trash can. And for a few seconds, the gate and the list and the 5 words my brother said were somewhere else. Not gone. Just somewhere else. He climbed into the car. He buckled his seatbelt with the stuffed dinosaur on his lap. He held it against his chest the way you hold something you just got and aren't ready to let go of yet. On the drive home, he was quiet for the first 10 minutes. Not the bad quiet from the morning. The full quiet. The quiet of a kid who used up every piece of energy on joy and has nothing left but sleep. He fought it. His eyes would close and then open, and then close again. He was looking out the window at the trees passing by. The evening light was warm through the glass. His head started to lean. Dad? Yeah, buddy? I had fun today. Me too. More fun than the other park would have been. I looked at him in the mirror. He was half asleep, His eyes were barely open, but he said it. He said it like he meant it, and I think he did. Dad? Yeah? This was the best day. I watched him in the mirror. Can we do this again? Just us? Yeah, buddy, just us. His eyes closed. His head leaned against the window. The stuffed dinosaur was tucked under his arm. The ice cream stain was drying on his shirt. His sneakers were still damp from the water ride. His hands were in his lap, fingers curled around the dinosaur's tail. The road was quiet. The evening sun was coming through the windshield and painting the dashboard orange. Other cars passed going the opposite direction. Families heading home. Kids asleep in back seats. An ordinary Saturday evening for everyone on this road. I drove with both hands on the wheel. The same wheel I had gripped with white knuckles that morning. The same hands that tightened into fists at the gate when my brother said 5 words that will live in my memory longer than any sentence I have ever heard. Oliver shifted in his sleep. The dinosaur slipped from his arm. He reached for it without opening his eyes and pulled it back. A sleeping reflex. Protecting the thing he just got. My phone buzzed again in my pocket. I didn't touch it. My son was asleep in the back seat of my car with a grin still fading from his face and a stuffed dinosaur under his arm and an ice cream stain on the shirt he picked out at 5:30 that morning for a day that was supposed to be his grandfather's gift and became his father's instead. The drive took 40 minutes, the same 40 minutes as the morning. But the morning drive was full of a boy's voice and the evening drive was full of a boy's silence, and both of them, in different ways, were the sound of my son trusting me. I got home at 6. I carried Oliver inside. He woke up enough to brush his teeth and change into pajamas. He was asleep again by 6:30 with the stuffed dinosaur next to his pillow. I stood in the doorway of his room for a minute. The backpack was on the floor. The wet sneakers were by the bed. The dinosaur shirt was in a ball on the carpet. A shirt that had been through the worst and best moments of the same day. Claire got home at 7. I heard her keys in the door. She walked into the kitchen and saw me standing at the counter with a cup of coffee and a phone full of notifications. How was the park? Which one? She set her bag down. What happened? I told her. Short version. Gate, list, Kevin's line, the other park, the photo. Claire stood at the counter with her jacket still on. Her jaw was tight. He said that. In front of Oliver. In front of everyone. She closed her eyes, opened them. Show me the email. What email? The pass confirmation. You already found it. I opened the screenshot. She read it. Tyler Mitchell, Emma Mitchell, Sophie Mitchell, Tyler Mitchell, no Oliver. Tyler's name is on there twice. Yeah, she put the phone face down. We're not going back. I know. Not for anything, not Christmas, not birthdays. We're done. I know, Claire. She poured herself a cup of coffee. We stood in the kitchen not talking. Last Christmas came back to me. The gift pile under the tree. 4 wrapped presents for Kevin's kids. 1 small gift bag for Oliver. A $10 gift card. Claire had squeezed my hand that night and whispered, "We need to talk about this." We never did. I told myself it was a one-time thing. It wasn't. I opened the backpack. The calendar was inside. The red X's. The smiley face on today's date. Claire looked at it. She walked to Oliver's room. She was in there for a few minutes. When she came back, her eyes were red. Don't send that screenshot tonight. Tomorrow. Nah, we figure out what comes next. Tonight, let it be a good day. He earned it. I put the calendar on the counter. I left it there. Monday morning. I dropped Oliver at school. He got out of the car with his backpack. The dinosaur shirt was in the laundry, but the ice cream stain didn't fully come out. Claire had tried. She said the chocolate had bonded with the fabric. It's a battle scar, she said. Oliver didn't mind. He said the stain made the shirt cooler. He waved at me from the sidewalk. Bye, Dad. He ran inside. No hesitation, no quiet walk. He ran. At pickup, the parking lot was full. I waited in the line of cars. Oliver came out with his backpack bouncing on his shoulders. He was talking to another kid. Hands moving. Telling a story. I could see it from the car. He was animated. Whatever he was saying, the other kid was listening hard. He climbed in. Dad, I told everyone about the park. Yeah? During show and tell. I told them about the roller coaster and the ice cream and the water ride. Marcus said he wants to go. I said maybe he can come next time. What did your teacher say? She said it sounded like an amazing day. His teacher walked up to the car window as I was pulling out. She leaned down. She was smiling. Mr. Mitchell, do you have a second? I put the car in park. Oliver was wonderful today. During show and tell, he stood up in front of the whole class and talked about going to a theme park with his dad. He said it was the best day of his life. He said his dad took him on his first roller coaster and he went 3 times and he ate chocolate ice cream and walked into a trash can. She laughed. Man, the whole class was laughing. He had everyone's attention. He was so confident, so happy. She paused. I don't always see that from Oliver. He can be quiet in class, reserved. But today he was a different kid. Whatever you did this weekend, it really meant something to him. Thanks for telling me that. Of course. She walked back toward the school. I sat in the car for a moment. Oliver was in the back seat already starting on a granola bar from his backpack. Dad, can we go to the park again this weekend? We'll see. I want to go on the fast one again. And this time I want to try the one that goes upside down. You think you're ready for the upside down one? I went 3 times on the fast one. I'm ready for anything. I smiled. I put the car in drive. I didn't explain to the teacher what came before the roller coaster. She didn't need to know. Oliver told the story he wanted to tell. A boy and his dad at a theme park. No gate, no list, no brother's words. Just a roller coaster and ice cream and a day that was just for him. That was enough. That was always enough. He just needed someone to give it to him. That evening, I drove home with Oliver in the back seat. He was telling me about the rest of his day, about how Marcus drew a picture of a roller coaster during art class, about how he told the lunch lady he went to a theme park and she said she was jealous. I glanced in the rearview mirror. The mirror I looked into on Saturday morning when he asked if Grandpa forgot him. But the face was different. Not a boy checking facts about where he stands. A boy who had a story to tell. A boy who stood in front of his class and said, my dad took me. Not Grandpa, not the family. My dad. I kept driving. Oliver kept talking. The evening was warm. The road was familiar. My son, safe, happy, telling me about his day. I didn't need anyone else to take him. Thanks for staying until the end. If this one hit something, subscribe. I'll see you in the next one.